Good morning, everybody. Can everybody hear us okay? All right. Well, we are 9 a.m. and we will get started here. So good morning and welcome to the Professional Development Group's Latte and Learn. This is YPN's Latte and Learn Professional Development is hosting today's session, which is focusing on cultivating client relationships. I'm Caitlin Mancini, the chair of the YPN, and it's essential that we thank our title sponsors for their year-long support as we deliver education and networking opportunities. Our title sponsors include Blue Ridge Home Builders Association, Greenwood Homes, Tao Insurance Services, and UVA Credit Union and member options. I'd like to thank Farm Credit of the Virginias for being today's event sponsors. At this time, I invite Megan Rogers to say a few words. Megan.
Hi, good morning. I'm so sorry that I'm having some technical difficulties and have a little cold, so my voice is terrible, so I won't say much. But thank you for letting Farm Credit sponsor this event. Like I say, every meeting, I think we do land loans, farm loans, more unique properties that other lenders might not have products for. So I will, once I get my computer back up and running, I will leave my name and email in the chat. So feel free to reach out if anybody has any questions. Thank you again.
Awesome. Thanks, Megan. And we can leave your info too if you aren't able to do that. Maybe Teresa could. So next, we'd like to mention today's charity, which is Albemarle Housing Improvement Program, as we know it as AHIP. We're thrilled to have Elise Noyes and Kyle Ramey with us today and tell us more about AHIP. Elise and Kyle, please share a few words.
Yeah, good morning. Kyle's hopping on just momentarily, but thank you all for having us this morning. We really appreciate it. CAR and YPN in particular have been wonderful supporters of our work in the community. So thank you all for having us. For those of you not familiar with AHIP, a little bit about us. We are a home repair nonprofit. So we do critical home repairs for low-income families in both Charlottesville and Albemarle. So this can range from everything from a new HVAC system, a roof replacement, to a full kind of comprehensive rehab. So two recent examples that I thought were good to share with you all. We had a client who called in who had been she was traveling for about a month, came home and her hot water heater had been leaking. And so we had to do a new HVAC replacement and some mold remediation and repair the area down there. But that was a repair that was critical to her health and well-being, but something that she couldn't have afforded on her own. So thanks to supporters like you all, we were able to do that repair. And then sometimes we do more comprehensive home rehab. So this can be full system replacements, which include the HVAC system, but also weatherization and energy efficiency upgrades, full roof replacements, siding and things like that. And we have a client in Acton, we're doing that right now. She actually doesn't have running water, so she purchases water to use. So we're doing some plumbing upgrades as well, so she'll have access to that again. So it's critical work that you all are supporting, and we really appreciate it. There's a lot of need in the community, and we're so thankful for that. And as we're progressing through our fiscal year, we've served almost 90 households for these critical home repairs, and are just so appreciative of your support. And I know in the past, you all have also been great supporters of our volunteer projects and things like House Party. We are hoping to try and roll out a volunteer program again at some point this year, and you guys are top on our list reaching out to about that. And then House Party is probably not going to come back at full scale, but we're looking at maybe doing some smaller events, and we'll definitely keep you all in the loop about that as well, because we know that you guys were great supporters for that. So thank you. And yeah, if there's any questions, we're happy to answer.
Great. Thank you so much, Elise. Please donate any amount through our GoFundMe link. It's available in the chat, or you can scan the QR code that you should see on your screen. And regardless of how much you donate, you'll be entered into a lottery to win a prize. We'll announce the winner at the end of the event. So new this year, YPN divides its end of the year income and donates to various local charities such as AHIP. So let's move on to our focus for today's session, cultivating client relationships. We're fortunate to have Sasha Tripp, principal broker and owner of Story House Real Estate and chair of the CAR Professionals Development Group. Sasha also speaks and teaches internationally as CRS annual Celebraton speaker and webinar instructor, and she coaches agents at state and local association conferences nationwide. Sasha, I hand it to you.
Awesome, guys. Can you all see my screen? Okay, let me bop it back into slideshow mode. Y'all can hear me okay? See my screen? Somebody little thumbs up in the side. Awesome, thank you. It's always scary because when I take full screen, I can't see anybody anymore. And then there are moments when I wonder if I'm just talking to myself and if anyone is left. So hi guys, welcome. It's good to see you guys again. I'm always grateful for y'all having me come back and speak. And you know that I have lots of fun and loving relationships with a lot of people in YPN. So it's a privilege to talk to y'all more. Hopefully I can share a few tips and tricks. And then I think you guys always know my underlying goal is stronger camaraderie, collegiality between us and you during transactions. And then I also say, if you make any of this stuff better, or you find a cooler, more interesting or cheaper or more efficient way to do it, I hope that you will do me the honor and favor of passing it back my way so that I can be improving my business as well. But for the most part, I'm just here to share cool ideas. And I feel like the real estate space is big enough for all of us to be successful, for all of us to have really lucrative, meaningful, impactful businesses. And I am just here to help people grow and sort of find the way that it works best for them. And then of course, if we get any cool ideas for our team along the way, that's a cool added bonus. So thanks for joining today. And here's a little bit about what we're going to talk about. My goal today, I feel like, you know, we're competitors, we're in the same market. You guys see our social media, you guys see advertising that goes out, you guys will see that we are, you know, posting about an event we do. So it's kind of like, you see bits and pieces of all the different marketing things that we do to keep clients, but I've tried to put it together sort of in an overall package so you could sort of understand, here are a bunch of different cool things that people can do. I would highly encourage that they don't get duplicated exactly, because none of our businesses do well when we are all just doing the exact same thing. So I just try to present a lot of ideas, and I suggest that everybody sort of looks for the way to add their personal flair to it, like their style, their personality, the type of events they would like to go to, the type of clients they would really like to work with. I think the more specific you get in trying to define your ideal person to work with and the type of agent you are, I think the more those people flock to you. I do think the ones of us that are trying to be really generic and kind of be all things to all people are the ones that really struggle to create an identity and create an identity of the best type of client to work with. And then it's just hard to make an enjoyable, fulfilling business. So a little bit of housekeeping. The slides will be available at the end of this presentation in a download. So hopefully you have the opportunity to kind of just enjoy and relax and jot down notes versus trying to like memorize every single thing at the end of the slides. And I've done like kind of a condensed version. Again, a lot of the stuff you guys could see if you just scroll through our social media accounts. So it's not a package of every single item, but it's the ones that might be a little harder to find, or that if you're not a friend of ours on social media, you might not see. So this is the thing I always start with. Our mission at Storyhouse Real Estate is to delight and surprise our clients and exceed their expectations. If you don't have a mission and you don't have like an identity for yourself in business, following the rest of these steps is going to be a little hard, because it just leaves too many options. Like if you haven't defined like what your business is going to be like and what your true goal is at the end of it, there's just like way too many choices of things that you can do to follow up with clients and stay in touch. And I think it leaves you drowning a little bit in inaction, because you're trying so much to figure out like what the next right actions are. So developing a mission is a really important start. And then for us, in order to fulfill our mission, we realize that we can't delight you or surprise you or exceed your expectations if we don't know you very well, or we don't stay in touch very well. So for us, in order to fulfill our mission, we have to create opportunities to better know our clients. We can't be transactional. We can't be churning and burning, meeting you, doing a 5-minute presentation, getting a bunch of offers on your property, and then, you know, getting you to the closing door and saying, see you later, and then hoping you call us again in 7 years to sell your next house. For us, it's trying to stay in deep relationship and understand what is actually interesting to you and what you would be interested by. So a few steps that start that process. I am focusing primarily on some on building new clients from scratch, but a lot on just like cultivating and taking great care of the people that you already know. It is a lot easier to just take great care of a person that you have already vetted yourself to than it is to just establish strangers off the streets as your own clients. So I am always going to pour into and focus the people that are already in my sphere. So getting phone calls from me directly, you know, I don't touch every client in our firm anymore. I'm the broker owner. We have 6 other full-time operational agents. They work with all of the buyers in our company. So it doesn't, you could, you know, be my best friend buying a $5 million property, and you will work with a different buyer agent primarily as your point of contact, and I will just be in touch with you throughout the way. So that is sort of how our team operates, which means I don't, and then lots of buyers I've never met, I've never, you know, talked to. They came in off of a website or a sign call or an open house or an ad or what have you. So my goal is to get to know all of the clients in some capacity and to make sure that their agent knows them, obviously above and beyond all else. During the transaction, a closing gift, so it shows like, hey, we already made some income from you. We're not just kind of like take our check and run out the door. So a meaningful closing gift that shows that, hey, we are trying to give back at the end of this process and start this relationship to be ongoing. Give Where You Live, where we donate a portion of our proceeds to every closing to a charity of their choice. We've also added on Save a Shelter campaign with some of the local animal facilities here. So you know, if we have helped you find a home, we would like to help a furry friend find a home as well. So we've got a campaign set up because we're super, you know, that is not an appropriate thing for every person on this call to do, because it's not special anymore if everybody just does it. We don't want it to just become mainstream things that every single realtor does, and then it just becomes expected by every single buyer client. But find the thing that is interesting to you. So maybe it's not helping a pet get shelter. Maybe it's contributing to AHIP. That would be a very good fit for today's conversation. Contributing money to AHIP to keep people in their homes, contributing money to assisted living facilities, because that might be the next step for some of your clients, or the step that they're, you know, going to be moving to in a couple of years. So thinking about, are there ways that you can give back at the end of the transaction so you're showing support of them and their interests, but also support of the community? Again, identifying yourself as not a transactional agent. All About You form, I'm going to show you a little bit more about, and continuing check-in. So that's sort of like what you're going to start seeing from us the day of closing and beyond. All About You forms, you guys have probably seen me talk about this in many. If you don't have this in your business yet, this is a very, very rudimentary thing that every person should really have in their business in some format. We typically try not to get it at closing. We try to get it at the beginning of the transaction so that we know their hobbies, their sports teams, what their spouse is doing, what ages their kids are. We want to know things that are important to them so that we can point them towards things in the community that are a match with that, but we can also cater to them if we offer them a gift, if we're trying to surprise them, if they've had a particularly bad day and we want to do something nice for them. I have found that the way to really cultivate better relationship is to know them well enough to honor them with a gift or with something that you're doing for them that is actually attuned to like their passions, their heart, their interest, and not just the random Lowe's gift card that you have 50 of stacked on your desk. So not that that's a bad thing. A gift is a gift and it's the thought that counts. But if you really are looking to cultivate deeper relationships and take it to the next level, it is going to require some knowledge of your client and a deeper understanding of them. So really, really simple. We now have this on Google Forms. We have had it on Woofu Forms. You can do it digitally. Like we just get this toward at some point in the transaction. And it's really easy to get it. Just say, hey, I want to take better care of you. You are important to me. I would love to know this information about you so I can take better care of you. So that's how we get the information. And then we weave the answers to their questions throughout the experience that they have with us, to the point where we've had times where, you know, the buyer's agents will show up. Back when we did more showings in the car, the buyer's agents would show up and they'd have their favorite snacks in the car, their favorite drinks in the car. They'd be playing Taylor Swift if Taylor Swift was their favorite musician. Like, if we had all the time in the world, we could do some really amazing things and we could be really remarkable and memorable realtors. Of course, we don't always have time to systematize that and do that consistently, but sometimes it's those extra shiny moments that really stand out to people, like, oh, this person really cared about me. They were not just here to collect a commission check. So let's say we've gone to closing with them, or we've added them to our database in some way. Maybe they're not a client, but they're someone important to us. We now try to systematize the follow-ups with them. They get added to our database. So we're calling them a couple of times a year. I'll explain that in a few minutes. If they're a business person, they get added to my business person database. Because if I have a client that is a fellow business person, I'm going to try to do more things with that client to support their business and make sure that, you know, fellow business people are in the trenches with us. They need business development. They typically need leads. Sometimes they're hiring and firing. They're having bad days when the economy is down. So those are the people that I feel like you can add a little bit more to, again, if you know enough about them. If you're not in deep enough relationship with your client to know where they work, or even that they are a business owner or an entrepreneur, you are not going to be able to service them in a way that is remarkable or memorable. And what do we know about the statistics about real estate agents? At closing time, something in the 80 to 87% of real estate agents, or of buyer and seller clients, say that they liked their agent and would use that agent again. And the stats are so low now, they drop every year. It's something like 27% of those people actually do use their agent again 5+ years later. And it's not because they don't like you guys. It's because they don't even remember you. They don't know you are even still in real estate because you've not kept in touch with people that once loved you, that were really ingrained in your lives. So thinking about ways to follow up with them and get them in consistent touch with you. So A, they know you care about them, but B, like, they know, again, you weren't just there to collect your commission check and move on and then hope that they call you back, you know, way down the road for the next sale. Add to them to our letter of the heart, which I'm going to show you some examples of. Add them to our just listed, just sold testimonial, like our mailed campaigns that go out. Add them to our holiday goodies, gifting campaigns. And then I continue to try to show them that we care and strengthen the relationship by making sure they meet more people on our team. Like if they didn't meet somebody that helped during the contract to closing part, or they didn't, you know, a lot of times they don't meet our marketing, you know, our marketing stuff is kind of done behind the scenes. We try to have one point of contact so that our clients not having to communicate with 7 different people to see, you know, here's my post on social media for the listing. Here's the brochure that ran for it. Here's the ad that ran. We don't want them to have to talk to 7 different people. They have one point of contact, but I think it adds something to the process if they get to meet the other people that were involved. So whether you have a team or not, are there opportunities where you can invite them where they would meet the lender that they worked with in person, the closing attorney? Hopefully they've met their home inspector in person, but there are sort of people along the way where you're deepening relationship if you're face-to-face with them in a way that I think got really cut out of the process when we were all under Zoom, you know, and a lot of us have still continued Zoom in our lives and just don't have that opportunity to build those relationships person to person. We're treating them on their birthday and we're trying to bring them into our client event. So it's like our goal is they have a birthday every year, right? So you know they'll hear from us at least once a year. We put them on our routine call list. So I'm going to tell you in a few minutes how we make sure that they hear from us twice a year outside of their birthday. We have client events. Of course, we will invite people to client events. We usually have a quarterly client event of some sort at our company. We invite them to events. Unfortunately, lots of them are not going to be able to make it. They'll have time conflicts, too busy, not interested. It's not a good fit for them. So we invite them to our client parties. But so whether we see them or not, at least they're hearing from us from those touch points. And then they're on our mailed campaign. So our goal is like, there is absolutely no way that if you sold a house with us, that you will ever have a chance to forget us. Now, maybe you don't like us anymore. Maybe you ran into us at an event and you didn't like what we were wearing, or you didn't like who we were talking to. And you've decided like, they will no longer be my realtor. And I'm okay with that. Like, we don't have to be all things to all people. Like, we need to have personalities, and people will magnetize to us if they're a good fit. But what I don't want to see in my business is people that did like us, that have no problems with us, that had a great experience with us, and then don't use us in a few years because they just didn't get any follow-up. So you guys have seen this all before, or a variation of it. I'm not going to go over it in depth, but this is sort of how I keep track week to week with the business I need to do. Face-to-face appointments, break breads, sharing a meal together, my calls, handwritten notes, and then at the bottom of the list, it's how much business has generated from those activities. The reason I bring it up is because the day of the week calls is what gets me in touch with these people consistently. Every Wednesday, my team calls from our database. So what that means is, you know, you might know thousands and thousands of people over time that you've met, that you've run into around town, that, you know, whatever, they've signed up on some website to see homes, thousands and thousands. Well, we can't take care of thousands and thousands of people. In a lot of cases, we've never met them. We've never even spoken to some of them. So our database is, for me, it's 450 people. It is cleaned up every year, which means some people get moved off of it. You know, you don't get to stay on it forever. If you're not in touch with us, if you've moved out of town, if we are likely to never see you again, unfortunately, as much as we loved you, we're probably not going to continue to follow up with you many, many times a year if it's likely that we're not going to be able to continue building that relationship here in Charlottesville. But my database is 450 people. And every week I am calling a group of them based by the letter of their last name. So if your last name starts with A, the first week of January, I'm calling you because your last name starts with A. The second week of January, I call the B's. The third week of January, I call the C's. When you get halfway through the year, you are actually conveniently fully through the alphabet one time. So you're 26 letters in, 26 weeks in. You start again in July, you call the A's again in July, first week of July, B's second week of July. And what that does is that systematizes every one of your people at least getting a voicemail from you twice a year outside of their birthday. So that step alone, if you just ignored every other thing in this entire presentation, if all you did was follow up with them on their birthday, which always happens once a year, and then you called them 2 other times a year, you will stick out heads and heads and heads above the rest of the competition who never speaks to them again after closing day. So one super simple tactic that unfortunately I see most people will not do because it takes a little extra work and a little extra strategy. And a lot of people are going to get really attracted to the bells and the whistles and the cool websites and the postcards and like the drip campaigns and all of that stuff, when all you really have to do is shave out all of the other shiny objects and just call your people a couple of times a year and remind yourself that the stats say they really liked you and the stats say they would likely just use you again the next time if all you did was stay in touch. So that's a really simple, free way to cultivate really good client relationships. The other tip I would say is a lot of people are scared to call their old past clients because they haven't called them in like 5 years. And they're like, oh, I really wish I had started this campaign from day one, but now they haven't heard from me in 5 years. I feel embarrassed to call them. What I will say to you is set your ego aside, call them, say hello, apologize for not having been in better touch. Tell them that you want to take better care of the people that you've worked with in the past and get the relationship rolling. Because again, remember, they really liked you and they probably didn't have high expectations that you were going to be checking in with them all the time. So in their mind, they do not hold that against you the way you might hold it against yourself. So pick up the phone. Like when you get out, we have the rest of the afternoon today. When you get out of this call, if you just want to go do one thing, pick up the phone and call 5 past clients that you haven't talked to in a year or two and check in on them and allow yourself enough time to talk to them for 15 or 20 minutes and see how their lives are going and if there's anything that you can do to help them. So super free ways to cultivate better relationships and stay in better relationships. Now we'll get into some of the marketing stuff. Here is our overall marketing calendar that our team runs off of. What you can see is a little X in the month that it happens, and then it's the various things that we do. So letter of the heart, I'm going to show you examples of all of this stuff. This is how we keep track of it. If you're brand new, if you don't have a big team, a big company, a big social media outreach, this is probably too much, but you can take something like this and cut it down to something that's achievable. And maybe every quarter, add a new layer to it that is manageable for you to do. So that's the overview of all the things we do and the rotation upon which we do them. And now I'm just going to go into some examples of them. Direct mail communications. People get really overwhelmed by direct mail. It is dollar for dollar. It is not that expensive and it is not that difficult to get it out the door. There are tons of companies that will allow you to upload a PDF, upload a card design from Canva, upload an Excel spreadsheet with your 50 client names, and they will literally print it out. It will be beautiful. They will put the return addresses on them. They will address all the cards, address all the envelopes. They will get them out of the door. And it's typically like less than $1 per item, which again, you have to include postage for that. So it's not going to be much less than 50 cents per item because you can't get to postage, you know, with that number. So less than $1 per item, which means there's no reason to not have some mailed communication. Say you have only 50 past clients, like there is no excuse for you not to be able to afford to mail something to them, you know, monthly or quarterly for $50 to $75 and be directly in front of them. So don't let it be daunting. Don't let it, like, if you see mailed communication, it doesn't have to go to hundreds or thousands of people. It doesn't have to go to an entire neighborhood. You don't have to farm. This is you mailing to people already in your sphere, people that are your VIPs, people that you like, people that like you, what have you. Letter of the heart is the one. This is, so we have two types of mailings. We don't overcomplicate it. I've been doing the same exact program for like 15 years. We have not changed it. It works out fine. There's no need to reinvent the wheel. Half of you, if you've taken classes with me, have seen all of this stuff because I truly believe that like it just doesn't change that often. Letter of the heart. So we have two types of mail, letter of the heart and evidence of success. Letter of the heart is where you send something that is not a shiny bells and whistle postcard, that's not glossy, it's not super pretty, it's not you being a marketing person, it's you being a human telling them something that might be relatable to them. Now, it might not be relatable to 90% of them, but the 10% that it is relatable to, you have just gotten in deeper relationship and they know more about you. They're going to follow up with you. They're going to call and check in with you. So this is something that we have our team and then myself, we send to our clients so that they get little snippets of us being normal human beings, not just salespeople, because I think there is a gap where a lot of us are sort of scared to show our real personality to our clients. And we think like, they don't want to know us. They don't care about our situations. They don't care what's going on in our lives. They just want me to sell their house successfully and make it easy and seamless. Well, I believe that that is not true. And I believe your business gets a lot more fulfilling and enjoyable. And there's a lot more like just joy coming to it day to day when you know your people better and they know you better. So letter of the heart is just a piece of paper mail that gets folded up in an envelope like we used to do things, you know, 20 years ago, folded up in an envelope with a stamp and sent out to your database. That is something personal. And it is not like this massive press for business. It's not where you stuff a bunch of business cards in. It's not where you tell them, hey, you know, let's buy right now. We are going to remind them we are in business, but we're not jamming it down their throats. We are mostly reminding them that we are humans and they are humans and we want them to know us and we want to know them. So that's our letter of the heart. I would say if you could get that out starting quarterly and then go to monthly, even if it's short, simple things, it doesn't have to be your whole life story. It could just be like, hey, here's a cool thing we did this month. Hey, I coached for my kid's soccer game. It was really fun. You know, whatever that looks like for you. It doesn't need to be like a meaningful, like life lesson. It doesn't have to be you pouring your soul out. It's just you saying some things that tell your clients about what interests you in your life. And then you will sort of find some resonance with some of them, which is all we're trying to do. Evidence of success is more like postcard style. It's the sort of stuff you would see on social media where you have a really low days on market, a really high price per square foot, a really great sales price for the neighborhood. Like whatever that looks like for you, a good testimonial. And again, if you're new and you have a smaller company or a smaller team, or you're solo agent, and you've only had one sale, you can use the success of your company. You know, it doesn't have to, you don't have to say, I, Sasha Tripp, sold this house and here's what my client had to say about me. You can work with someone else in your company and say, hey, would you be comfortable with me marketing this successful sale? And we could say, here, Story House had this successful sale. Story House had this great story. We had this great listing. We had this great testimonial. And you send it out to your database to show them that who is supporting you, the team you are on can support their sales goals and help them successfully buy and sell homes. And then as you gain more credibility and more experience, obviously you share your own successes. More evidence of success. Some of these are just random 2020, 2021, 2022. These are just random things that we send out to try to give people a snapshot of the type of business that we're doing. Simple things. Again, don't be overwhelmed by it. You don't need a card that has 1 million sales on it. You just need a couple of successes and a couple of happy clients, but just trying to get in front of these people after the closing to remind them, hey, we are good at selling houses. Like you liked us then. Hopefully you still like us now. And we haven't done anything to damage that. And we're good at selling houses. And we just want to remind you of that. And if you know anybody else that might need a good person at selling houses that is likable, that you gain trust and rapport with, I'm here for them. That's all we're doing. Events and social. We have all sorts of random stuff. You'll see this one on the left. This is a very affordable, approachable event. We do not know what we would do with clients without clients like you. It was National Donut Day. Some of these are a little much, and you will find your own tone, and whether you like cheesy or you like to be a little more serious, whatever. All we did was, it was National Donut Day. We invited them to like Spud Nuts or one of the donut places. And we were like, if you come and swing by, we'll buy you a coffee and a donut. We just want to say hi. So that took a couple of hours of planning just to tell people about, like, we want to make sure people showed up if we were sitting there. We talked to the business and just said, hey, would it be okay, like, if you just keep bringing these up on our tab, or you can like tally the marks down or whatever. We don't want to pay every single time a client walks in and go through the line 47 times. But if they say they're with our team, can you just tally it up? We'll stand there. You can have our credit card. You just run one charge at the end of it. And we're just standing there and chatting with people. And oh, by the way, we're driving more people to your business, so you're definitely not going to say no to this. And then we're just treating it. You could do this at a coffee shop. I've seen several agents do it really successfully, where they say like, come, I'll buy you a cup of coffee and we'll donate any extra proceeds that day to Habitat for Humanity or whatever. Super simple, super low budget, because you only pay for the people that show up. And it's something that you can do with like an hour or two of planning. So again, feel free to not use Donut Day. Feel free to find your own variation that suits your style and what might, build rapport, like what your clients might be attracted to, and find a business that would be thrilled to have you as an advocate for them. And it kind of like makes the little ecosystem of people thinking about each other and trying to help each other and cultivate better relationship. It just sort of all works together. We have happy hours. I've talked about these many times before. We will typically do a happy hour. We'll invite some of our VIPs. We'll invite the people that are current buyers or sellers that month. We'll invite the people that bought or sold in the last 3 months, whatever. Little happy hour. We're just buying, we'll provide you with one drink, and we'll have some apps out. You come and hang out, you meet our team, you chat, you see some other people that are sort of in a similar stage of their home buying process as you, and we pay the bar tab. And it could be like, $150. If no one comes that month, it might be $400 if it's really well attended. We don't want it to be too well attended, because then we can't talk to anyone. Again, the whole point is not to say, oh, we had a lot of people show up. The whole point is to build relationship and deepen the conversations that you can have with those people. And really, if you have more than 15 or 20 people at an event, unless you have a lot of people that can be at that event staffing, you're not going to get much accomplished. The tailgates that we do, you could do, our building is really well suited for this, because I chose it. This is like one of my life dreams. I am perfectly equidistant between the lacrosse and baseball stadiums and the football stadium. So you can tailgate at our office for either game. So we are really into the tailgate idea, but you could also buy a parking spot for $15 at the baseball game and set up a tailgate out of the trunk of your car and invite people over and offer them like a $6 ticket to the baseball game. So you could spend $100 and have a nice tailgate and invite some VIPs, invite some of your past clients that love UVA, or find not a high school sport. That would probably be illegal. I'm sure that's illegal. Find something else that your people are into, whether it's sports or it's like a concert on the downtown mall. These are really inexpensive ways that don't take a lot of effort. It just takes an invite and a few happy faces to show up. So you can just, again, to get in deeper relationship with your client and be more impactful around the things that they're interested in. You guys have probably seen us post about our Pie Day. We still do Pie Day. We've been doing that for, I don't know, at least 10 or more years. We have 300 or 400 clients come get pies from us, which is a lot. But again, if you're well-staffed and you have the space set up properly, you can be in relationship with all of those people. But again, it's just our goal to we're giving you a pie for Thanksgiving. We're part of your family's Thanksgiving dinner. That's a pretty cool thing. Like, that's a pretty cool part of someone's lives to be invited into. We have literally been doing most of these things for 10 plus years. We're not reinventing the wheel. We're not chasing shiny things. We are just finding a couple of things that really work for us or resonate with us and doing them consistently and making sure that when they do happen, they get done well. Digital reach, I'm just going to sort of flip through several slides here. A lot of this you guys have already seen because this is our social media. So digital reach, I'm going to talk a little bit more about how we coordinate it. We use we use Trello. Trello, is that the right answer? Oh my gosh, can you tell it's Friday? We use Trello it's like a little, it's a digital, I think of it as a digital cork board. It's like if you had a giant cork board in your office and every time you had an idea, you put it on an index card and you pinned it up to the cork board and you moved it all around in the order that it belonged in. That's what we use this program for. And it helps our team, or if you don't have a team, it helps you individually map out like your social media, your digital outreach schedule. Like, when are you going to post about things? What is your plan to post? What are the posts going to be about? Do you want to save up some post ideas for next month? Do you want to plan out holidays in advance? Because you can schedule all that stuff months and months in advance if you just have an idea for it. So this is a really cool tool if you're going to try to use social media and digital posting. I really do think you want to have a strategy for it. So you're not just like one-off posting here or there, or like posting 15 things in one day because you had some free time and then not posting again for another 2 months because you didn't have free time. So coming up with what is your system going to be to like, and what are you going to post about? Are you going to do Tuesday testimonials? Are you going to do inspirational quotes? Are you going to do home maintenance tip? What are you going to post about? And make sure that you have a tempo to those that makes sense. And it's not overkilling one topic and, you know, like drowning out a person that you're friends with that has no interest in that topic. And it's not totally forgetting or glossing over another really important topic to your audience. So that's what we use to manage ours. And you'll just see, we try to find just things locally to support. So anybody can do this. It doesn't have to be client related. You sort of have to know what are some of the things your clients are into, so that you can then find the things in the community that are happening. You know, it's like, we can't post about everything. Like, I'm not trying to be a Charlottesville events board that's, you know, sharing every up and coming thing in the whole town. I'm trying to think about what are things I know that my people have been into, and how do I weave them into my day? How do I partner with businesses that may benefit from being exposed to our audience? How do I bring it all together? So again, it's like one cohesive, it's like a cohesive set of relationships that all support each other. I support my clients. I support these other business communities or business ventures in the community. A lot of my clients then go on to learn about these business ventures in the communities, but I've picked ones that align with the things that my clients like. So it just becomes kind of like this cyclical thing where it feels like everybody's kind of working together and everyone's supporting each other. And you're doing what you can to understand more about your people and make sure that they're getting access to the information they need. I always talk about engagement. The other thing that is really tough is when you post a whole bunch of stuff and then you have not left any time for yourself to actually respond to the stuff, right? So we have this posting schedule. We've got them all scheduled. They're going out at a certain tempo, which is really awesome. You're getting 3 posts a week or 5 posts a day, whatever your goals are. But then you haven't scheduled any time to actually respond. Remember, what is the point of posting? It's not to build your ego and to look super cool that you're doing all this stuff. It's to deepen relationship. It's to remind people that already know you that they did like you and that you're friends, and then remind them that you're good at this job. And then it's to deepen the relationship. So you've got to think about, if you are going to try to do these posts, is there going to be a built-in time to follow up with them and communicate and engage with the people that respond to them? Because if they're not, you're literally falling on deaf ears, or you're not sort of achieving the final goal. It's too much time, too much effort, too much money in some cases to not achieve the final goal of building that relationship with those people. Here's some, I'm just putting these up. I mean, literally you could scroll through our Facebook page and see all these. I just try to give different ideas. This local love is trying to find something, again, those local businesses that we can support, that we can introduce our audience to, and vice versa. We pick some random holidays that are kind of like not the typical holidays, because it gives us opportunities to support a business in town or support a person in town that's attached to that. Maybe one of our past clients owns a taco shop. Maybe one of our past clients owns a bookstore, and we can tie all of that into the big days. So again, there's a million of them. There's no need to pick the same ones that you see everybody else do. Go pick some that resonate with some of your clients or people that are important to you or yourself, like just things that you enjoy. We've done teacher giveaways. We've done get to know you about the different people on our team, where it's like random fun facts. It's interesting things that you wouldn't otherwise know about them. Again, we're trying to build relationship, not just put a bunch of stuff out there that's talking to people or talking at people. We are trying to get them to talk back, or to feel that there is more of a human side behind their real estate agent who they may have only known for a brief period of time or in a very like businessy setting. And then it's like, What else can we find? Like none of this is right. I feel like most people on this call are doing these same things, just finding the celebration moments, finding things to be happy with them about, finding things to brag about them about, or brag with them about. If you're not on LinkedIn, that's a really good place to make sure that you're following your past clients, because you get to see their accolades and their business progress, that things that they are posting. It's a really good place to understand what is important to them from the professional standpoint. And if you see something cool, you know, you can celebrate with them. If they've done, you know, I've got clients that have done like run for school board. I've got clients, again, they're opening small businesses. They're achieving like the best of the best in their industry or in the field that they're in. We can celebrate that with them and be proud of them, because again, like we know them well enough to be cheering for them, and it wouldn't seem random. It wouldn't seem like it was phony or staged, or it was for like PR purposes. We can just enjoy their lives with them. And in turn, those people do the same thing. Like they want to celebrate your successes and your wins, and often want to give back to those as well. Again, this is sort of like trying to come up with a schedule. If you're really going to get into social media, I hate to say this because I know people don't want to hear it, but you really do have to come up with a plan to basically post something every day, which I know sounds really daunting. If you use a scheduler, if you use something that pre-programs it, it is not as daunting. It does not all have to be original content. You can go on Canva. There's tons of templates. Steve Harney has stuff. CAR has stuff. The Virginia Association of Realtors has stuff. Like there's amazing content. You do not have to be creating go on AI and type in, go on ChatGPT and type in, what are the 10 most important things that home buyers want us to post videos or social media posts about right now in Charlottesville, Virginia, and give it a tone of a little goofy, you know, professional business person, but a little goofy. And ChatGPT will give you 10 or 20 prompts of exactly what to title those posts, bullet points for what those posts should be about. They will tell you video prompts. Like if you want to start, you could say, okay, you told me one of the things that people in Charlottesville, Virginia want to know about is the local zoning ordinance that's like being currently debated. Write me a social media post coming from a small realtor in Charlottesville, Virginia, that describes the 3 biggest issues of the local zoning ordinance, and ChatGPT will pretty much write the entire article for you. I would highly recommend that you read it and you edit it and you make sure it is correct, but it will pretty much write the post for you. It'll write it. You could say, give me the 20 best caption or keywords to add to my caption on my social media post about summer home maintenance tips. And it'll give you all the hashtags that would be appropriate for that. Like, use this stuff to your advantage. Don't get daunted by having to post often, but figure out a plan that will allow you to post with consistency. The other thing we've done is a monthly newsletter. So for what you're hearing from us is, we mail a piece of mail in an envelope. We mail a postcard sort of piece of mail. We reach out to you on your birthday. We reach out to you 2 times otherwise, and we get you on our e-newsletter list. That is the consistent stuff you're going to get from us. And then we feather in, you know, having occasional events, all the random social media. We cannot assume that you will definitely see the social media, or that you follow us, or that you're on social media a lot. So all of that stuff is just extra possible touch points that may or may not fall on the right audience. But I'm showing you the skeleton of the like things that are recurring, that are repetitive, that happen over and over again. It's not this massive, massive list. It's like 5 or 6 basic things. You don't have to implement them all now. Maybe implement 1 a quarter so that you get that one up and running. You get that one kind of dialed in, and then you add the next one the next quarter, whatever. Canva can do all the design for you. ChatGPT can do a ton of the writing for you. You just have to use your brain to figure out, who are my people and what do they want this to be about? Like, what is going to resonate with my people and the people that I want to surround myself? And that's where all of the plans diverge for each one of us on this call. Otherwise, like, a lot of this stuff can be very automated and very inexpensive. And then we have just recently started a blog where we just sort of add timely things, because we do find people kind of perusing around our website quite often. And we do find a lot of our past clients are sort of browsing and peeking at our website. So we're trying to have kind of relevant, timely updates. But again, this is another thing that it's like, if we're going to post it on social media, instead of it just being a flat Facebook post or a flat Instagram post, why not do a very short like header blurb and then link them back to our website if they're interested to read more, because then they land on our website, they find some other cool stuff. Maybe they set up a search online, you know, who knows, maybe they start reading through the bios of our team and they realize they're friends with one of them or went to high school with one of them. We are just trying to get them further engaged and get them constantly like refreshing and recircling in our sphere. And then gifting opportunities. I'm just going to show some screenshots because every gift, you know, it would be weird for you to give the exact same gift to every person over and over again. And it would be weird for you to give the exact same gift to your people that I give to my people, but it's giving you some ideas. So again, you can find your own take on it that works for you, that feels authentic to you. Gifts that we give out to people. Again, if like, this is Emily Coulter. Lots of us know her. She's a very sweet, lovely lender who I think is wonderful. Because we knew her well enough and we had an All About You form and we had worked with her when her birthday came around, or it was after a closing, I don't remember when it was, we gave her this little tiny gift that was this, the Motorcycle Journeys Through the Appalachians, which is like a $5 book that is sometimes like free at the Chamber of Commerce. And then this cute little hat that says "Biker Hair Don't Care," because she rides bikes. And that was like, for me, I don't have any idea what that hat costs. I don't know, you know, an average hat is probably like $10 to $15. It's not like a custom hat. We didn't have her name embroidered on it or anything like that. $10 to $15 plus a $5 or less book, a $20 gift that I think allows her to think, oh, neat, like this person actually knows me, versus something that I think used to really frustrate me. I used to get Starbucks cards all the time. And until like this year, I had never had a cup of coffee in my entire life. And then I like, or people would drop by, and I don't ever want to be unappreciative for a gift, but I will tell you that some gifts arrive and they make you feel further out of relationship with that person than you were before the gift showed up. The people that used to give me boxes full of that Red Rocker peanut candy every holiday when I had a highly severe peanut allergy, like, I know that's very good candy, but when that would arrive, it makes me feel like, oh, you know, this does not make me feel like this person was trying to cater something to me. It makes me feel like they were just dropping some random stuff off at our door. And in some cases, like literally like a deathly allergy for periods of my life, I was just like, I know this was well-intentioned. I know it's the thought that counts, but it just made me feel, it like made me giggle. And I was like, oh, in fact, I don't really know this person all that well. We are not in great relationship for them to be serving me up my death in a gift that they were trying to send me as a thank you, right? So we all mean well. I'm not saying we will make mistakes. We will give alcohol to people that are sober for 10 years. That's not a great gift either. Some of these things are things we can figure out about people if we just spend a teeny bit of time talking to them and focused on them and not just the transaction. So little tiny things, they can often be less expensive than the more elaborate gifts that you feel like you have to give to overcompensate for the fact that you don't know them at all. Little pop buys, little things we do for holidays. There's just all sorts of little things, like find a theme. If you have a little free window of time and you're like, oh my gosh, I have no clients, I don't have anyone to call, I don't know what to do with myself, find some sort of little theme, go to the dollar store and pick up some random pieces of packaging, maybe put something in it that's cute, or, you know, not the dollar store necessarily, but something that's cute, something that has small value, and go drop them off to some of your clients. Drop some flowers off to a few people that you know have been going through a tough season. Like, there are just so many little things that you can do that if you're in relationship with people, I really think that you can make an impact. Whereas if you're not in relationship, you don't know that they need like the moral support or like the cheering up. This is how we do our birthday gifting. I have a list of all of my clients or all of my VIPs. You can see I have the list and their upcoming birthdays. And some of the stuff, if we're going to kind of give a more generic gift because we're not in super tight relationship with them, we have this list of like, here are 10 or 20 different options. We rotate them into different things every year so that every year we're not giving the people the same exact thing over and over again on accident. 10 or 20 different options. This is how it's managed from the bigger picture so that it can happen consistently. I just go down the list and I check off, here's what I'm going to do for this. If I didn't have staff, then I would just go put this task in my calendar a couple days in advance of when it's their birthday. And then I would be the one that would go make sure it gets ordered or sent out in a timely manner. But then this allows somebody else to help me with it. Like you could have a virtual assistant that you paid 2 hours a month, and all they do is go online and get and it could be like a college kid that, I would not I would not have this be a random person from another country, because you would have to give them your credit card and you need to trust this person, but literally 1 or 2 hours a month. And all they do is go on the websites, order the gifts, put in the date that it needs to be delivered by, put the address information in, and they get the gifts sent out so that your people have something to show up on their actual birthday. Birthdays are really important because I feel like, nobody puts that much effort into birthdays anymore. And it's like, I think a lot of people barely get a phone call. They might get 500 Facebook posts, which are literally meaningless. And I mean, the ones that are like HBD, or like the ones that you could tell are automated. It's like Facebook knows it's their birthday and they give you 3 prompts and you just click on one and that's the message it posts. Like, I don't think that makes anyone feel special anymore. I don't think it like makes you feel like, oh my gosh, I'm super loved. I think it's getting the occasional phone call or the note card or the gift or the flowers, or just something that shows that you took a minute to like actually spend a little time showing gratitude and love for that person on their birthday, versus just posting on Facebook, one of a million posts that we all get. And like at a certain point, you can't even read through all of them anymore. And lots of them are just so random. I think we've gotten a little further away from making people feel special or important on their birthday. So the little teeny things that you do, I think really go a long way. And then surprise gifts, do they have a bad day? Can you give them something tied to a milestone? Can you give them something when they have a baby? Can you give them something if you've seen they've had a death in the family? Those are not rocket science. Just that's the one benefit. If you're following them on social media, you get to learn something about their lives and you can send them something in an impactful moment. And it doesn't have to be expensive. It could just be a card. And sometimes if you see somebody has lost a pet, send them a card, little things like that, just to show that you care and you want to be in relationship with them. And again, you didn't just sell them a house and disappear. And then the last thing, this is like not real specific. This is just make sure you're a good guide and resource. It's really hard for us to maintain these long-term client relationships if we don't really know what's going on in the market, because I think what happens is if you don't feel comfortable talking about the market, you sort of shy away from running into people, because the common thing in between you all is real estate. And if they ask you about the market, you kind of panic. So make sure you understand days on market, what's going on with pricing, what's going on with inventory. This is where video comes in. Like, there's no one that was more anti-video than me. I really thought, I was like, I'm going to let this come and go. This is just one trend I'm just not going to follow. I do all the other ones. I pick all the other stuff up. I'm just going to let video pass me by. And I will tell you, video is one of the best ways to stay in continued follow up with your clients, because it allows you to do it efficiently. Like if you sent a video to all of your past clients from 2022 and just said, hey, I just want to send a quick video. Thank you so much for your support of me or my team or my company in 2022. We're so grateful for you. If there's anything we can do for you, we don't want to be strangers. If you need help appealing your tax assessment, if you're having an issue with your if your roof is leaking, like, call me for anything. I'm here for you for anything. I want to be like the realtor you think of for the rest of your life till the day we die. Like, I'm going to be in your life. Let's stick together on this. Video is a really great way to get in front of people. And then again, posting video to your social media accounts, if you are friends with many of your clients, that's really great, because that's going to catch their eye when otherwise a lot of people just sort of keep scrolling. And this is like, we all suck at video. Like, see these are like, I can't operate the video. My hair looks bad. My outfit's falling. It's like, I'll tape a whole video and it's like my shirt was untucked, or there's something, like the microphone's pointing out of the back of my head and I didn't notice it. We all hate video, but getting over your fear of the video, because again, your clients hired you because they liked you. Like, people are always like, I look ugly on video. Well, that's your face. So if you don't like it, I don't know what to tell you. Go get some Botox, get a new hairdo. I don't know what to tell you, but that is your face. And your clients loved you with that face when they worked with you. They're going to love you with this face today on video. So if this is an efficient way for you to be, if you hear the idea of like, oh my gosh, I'm supposed to call every person in my database once a week, and you're like, this is impossible, that is unsustainable. I don't have the time. There's no way I could ever do that. then you might be a good candidate to start thinking about video. Is there a way that you could get in front of some of these people and feel relatable? Whereas like an email is not really relatable. There's no building of relationship. There's no vulnerability. There's no personality. Is there a way that you could more efficiently get in front of some of these people instead of just not getting, just not being in touch and losing them, losing their friendship, losing their relationship, losing their belief in you as a professional, and then losing their future business? For me, it was worth overcoming the fear of video. And then this is my last little tip. Don't let perfection stand in the way of action. None of this is going to be perfect on day one. If you're trying to start from scratch and you don't have any of this implemented, just go do something. If you're like, oh my gosh, there's no way I can send a birthday gift to every single person that I'm friends with, like immediately starting today, just go pick 5 people that have birthdays coming up and, go on Facebook, literally click on events, go to the birthday section, find 5 people that you love that have birthdays coming up, and go find a cool, impactful, go do something neat for their birthdays and see what that does. And I do think sometimes you get little pieces of these out the door and you do little variations of them. And the reward, like the feeling that it brings to you of having these deep relationships, having these people trust you, having these people excited to hear from you. I think a lot of times that is what helps you get more enthusiastic about doing it over and over again, making it a part of your system, finding a way to fit it into your schedule. So go just do little tiny bits of these things. You don't have to start everything at once. You don't have to have like the perfect gift for every person in your future database right now. Just go find a couple of things that you could do, or a couple of clients that you could make, you could deepen your relationship with, and start from there. This is how I always do my goal setting. So if you've ever taken a class with me ever before, I probably had this chart in. I don't think you can go do everything right now. So if you look at a chart like this, can you map out like what's feasible for you to roll out in April? Like, is there anything that you can do in the last 10 days of April? If not, that's okay. It's a busy time of year. Is there one of these things that you could roll into your calendar in May? Maybe you look at the e-newsletter and you're like, there's no way I'm going to be able to do that until the market slows down, but I could start that in October. So you sort of vet these things out so it doesn't feel like you have to start from scratch and get everything out of the door immediately. It gives you a tempo that makes it achievable. But a year from now, your business will be 10 times better, 10 times stronger. You will have this solidified. And it won't have felt like you you were drowning trying to get it up and running. So what else will you do right now? I would love you guys to, gotta go back to the slide. I would love for you guys to go to this little survey, fill it out. Tell me if there's anything I could have talked more about, if there's anything that wasn't explained well, if there's anything I could do better. I would love any criticism, feedback, whatever, but it'll also help me gather your email addresses. So if there's follow-up or questions, what have you, I can get all of that to you pretty easily. Figure out what you're going to do in the next month. Like go look at your little calendar, figure out what your next step is going to be. If you haven't followed us yet online, we would love to be more connected to our peers. And then my final ask is just that if you come up with something that's a cooler or a better variation of it that wouldn't be weird for a competitor to do because it's like no 2 people would ever see that the other people were receiving it, send it back my way, because we're always trying to, I don't want to duplicate exactly what other people are doing in this market, because again, then it's not delightful or surprising, it's run of the mill. But if there are little tweaks, little improvements to systems, little tips or tricks that you guys get along the way, we are constantly trying to improve and just have a better experience for our clients as well. So there is your little survey. Feel free to donate to AHIP and figure out your whole post-closing campaign around getting money, proceeds back to AHIP, contributions from your sales back to AHIP. We want to do everything that we possibly can to support the vendors that are here today. So anything that you can do just to give back a little bit and bring it all back around for your community and your past clients is awesome. And again, if you have any questions for me, I will hang around for a couple minutes after they close us out and I will answer them. And otherwise, I hope you guys have an amazing weekend. And I hope you guys get lots and lots of repeat and referral business from all of your past clients in your sphere of influence, and just generate a little deeper, more fun-loving relationship out of them as a result of a few of these tips. So thank you guys so much. And I'll turn it back over to Caitlin, I believe.
Yep. Thanks so much, Sasha. That is awesome. And if you want to put your survey link in the chat, that might be easy. I think I tried to do it, but if you want to put the link, people will be easy maybe to just click on that. So
Oh yeah, I don't know why. I think you just have to copy and paste. I don't know why it doesn't, I don't know why Bitly doesn't link. But yeah, if you copy and paste it, you have the right link. You just have to put it in a browser.
put
So
in it. Yeah.
who knows? But yeah, fill that out. And if you have any follow-up questions, it'll give you a place to put those in, and then we can kind of get back to you with any ideas or answers or what have you. But thanks, guys.
Thank you so much. So we'll just open it for a couple minutes for questions. I see there's one in the chat. You can unmute yourself or you can put your questions in the chat. Tiffany Jenkins says, does snail mail or video work better for LOH and testimonials?
Oh, I totally missed that. Sorry about that. So my opinion is whatever you're willing to do and whatever you can afford works the best. So if you cannot afford to do snail mail consistently and get things in front of people consistently, then I would probably do videos, because in most cases you can do those for free or very low cost. If you can afford a budget for snail mail, I would say that snail mail is very impactful again right now, because so many people went even more paperless during COVID. Lots of stuff is online now. I get way less mail in my life than I ever have in the history of mail. And so when I do get something kind of cool in the mail, it is impactful and I give it a little extra second of my time. Whereas video, a lot of times, honestly, a lot of your videos come and they get like siphoned out to a side folder of mine that if I have a chance, I check those emails. If I'm able to, I follow up on those emails. But a lot of times they kind of don't get the time or attention. Oh, let me unshare my screen also, by the way, so that you guys can take back over. Any other questions? All thanks, Arlene. Good to see you. Any other questions I can answer for anyone?
Everybody can unmute or put it in the chat. Well, thank you very much, Sasha. We appreciate you sharing your expertise and taking time to join us. And before we end today's event, Brittany, can you share how much we raised for AHIP and announce the winner?
Yes, so it looks like we have raised $295, which is so great. If anybody else wants to donate, still feel free to do that. And the winner today is Lori Falk. So we do have a gift card and we will reach out after this to tell you where to pick it up. Or we can mail.
Thank you very much to everybody who donated. That's great. Congrats, Lori, on winning. So YPN, just a plug for the next event. It's Trivia Happy Hour, Wednesday, the 21st of June, 4 to 6 p.m. More details to come. If you have come to a YPN Trivia Happy Hour before, they are super fun, relevant content. You get to network and meet other realtors that maybe you have done transaction with and never met in person. So please join us. Put that on your calendar, June 21st, 4 to 6 p.m. and look out for more info. And don't forget to register for free using the car education and events calendar. And if there is nothing else, I hope everyone has a great day and a great weekend. Thank you so much for joining us.